Living a double life is a common experience for the children of immigrants, but it can have dramatic consequences for mental health. Young, second-generation immigrant Muslims in particular face unique challenges as they navigate the often conflicting expectations of society and family. Haydar Bayram, 23, immigrated with his family from Lebanon when he was 12. He struggled both with fitting in at school and meeting his family's expectations at home. "I wanted to be the popular kid," Bayram explained. His wish to fit in and be accepted often involved activities his observant Muslim family had no idea about. "Sometimes I would drink and I would go home and act normal, and my parents wouldn't notice. It would mess with my head." This experience is pervasive among many youth today, says Dr. Yusra Ahmad, psychiatrist at the University Health Network and lecturer at the University of Toronto. Being unable to be truthful to others and thus true to yourself can manifest in depression, anxiety, panic attacks, eating disorders and self-harm. Even more fundamentally, this phenomenon could lead to insecurities and self-esteem challenges that impact a young person's transition into adulthood. In Bayram's case, living a split life left him with feelings of guilt and anxiety. "After telling a lie, I would have to remember all the other lies I told. It takes a mental toll. It's tiring to lie all the time and think of ways to cover up those lies. But there's pressure that if I do open up, I won't be accepted, I might hurt my parents' feelings. At one point I thought I would lie to my family my whole life." Bayram coped as best he could. "I would go to the gym, destroy my body, that way I could just go home and sleep. Another way was suppressing my feelings. A certain feeling would come up, like guilt or feeling my relationship with my parents isn't the greatest, and I would just push it down. At random times I would cry out of nowhere. The human need for love, connection and belonging is so strong, no matter who you are or where you come from, that we will go to great lengths to get these needs met, even if it means denying who we are or hiding parts of ourselves," Ahmad said. Being unable to be truthful to others and thus true to yourself can manifest in depression, anxiety, panic attacks, eating disorders and self-harm. Bayram points out that the unrealistic expectations set by some parents have a part to play in causing their children to engage in destructive behavior. "You might be interested in, parents set a really high bar," Bayram says. "They have certain expectations that they want their kids to meet. If the kid is not meeting those expectations, they let to satisfy their parents." In Bayram's case, anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim sentiment that he experienced when he first arrived in 2008 made the need to fit in at school even more crucial. "A couple of weeks in, the bullying started at school. They called me bomber, also terrorist. They would say, 'What did you do growing up?' Built CFAs. It got physical in the change room. I remember all of them leaving and I was changing by myself, crying." Ahmad is blunt in her analysis of the crisis facing young, first- and second-generation Muslim youth. Because of the Islamophobic climate we live in, Muslims have been squeezed to the point of suffocation. They are not allowed to be who they truly are on their own terms. If you're portraying that you're Muslim, then you will get a lot of pressure at school. You're looked at as an outsider, like you don't belong. You might be interested in. This sentiment is echoed by Layla, who's asked that her real name not be published, a 23-year-old Muslim woman living in Toronto, who points out that while this duplicity is common within immigrant diasporas, it is multiplied with the extra layer of religion over top of cultural differences in Muslim communities, from both within and without. Layla describes the subtle, everyday impact of internalized Islamophobia. "One time I was at Costco and another customer was being very rude to me and my friend. My friend wears hijab and because she is visibly Muslim she wanted to address the situation with utmost kindness and compassion. We feel the pressure to maintain that we are entirely non-violent, entirely non-confrontational beings." Layla sums up the pressure she faces. "If I am portraying myself as a Muslim and I am doing things that are counter to our religion, then I am corrupting the image of Muslims at large. It takes the simplicity out of life. And then there's the emotional toll of maintaining the web of lies." But she realizes, too, the challenges facing immigrant parents. Our parents left their entire lives and moved us to a different place to have a better chance in education. For us to be living differently from the way they want us to live feels almost like a betrayal. Get some good advice in your inbox. Get expert advice on life and relationships with the Stars Advice newsletter. Sign up now. Recently, Byram made the decision to be open with his family and to share more about the way he lives his life. At first it was tough with my parents because they thought I was a totally different person. But after that initial resistance it got better. My parents were more understanding, especially my mom. Byram is more optimistic about his life today. He works as a personal trainer and entrepreneur at Raise the Bar Fitness and Coaching in Toronto. He has a few suggestions for Muslim parents and young people struggling with their relationships. I think the main thing is open communication, and that has to come from the parents. Parents also have to be more open-minded, not rigid in their thinking. They should not take the same approach that their parents took with them. Being heard is a big part. Layla cautions that parents need to accept that their children are facing immense pressure to conform. Even if it's not to the same degree as other people, your kids are almost definitely hiding certain things about the way they live. Your children are their own selves. They will form their own opinions and lead their own lives, and if you